The old house on Willow Street had stood for decades, its brick walls weathered by storms, its wooden porch creaking with every gust of wind. To most, it was simply another home tucked into a quiet neighborhood. But to Ethan and Logan, it was the center of their universe. Every corner of that house held a memory of laughter, secrets, and the bond that tied them as brothers. Ethan, the elder by 3 years, was always the protector. Even as a boy, he carried the air of responsibility, often ensuring that Logan did not wander too far, that their mother's instructions were followed, and that the fragile truce between their mischievous selves remained intact. Logan, by contrast, was wild, impulsive, his curiosity often landing him in trouble. He had a spark that Ethan sometimes admired and sometimes feared. On a sunny afternoon in early summer, the brothers were in the backyard, building a makeshift fort from old wooden planks. The air smelled of freshly cut grass and warm earth. Logan, holding a hammer slightly too big for his small hands, swung it with a reckless enthusiasm. "Careful," Ethan warned, moving swiftly to intercept a plank that was about to collapse. "You'll hurt yourself," Logan laughed, brushing off the warning. "Relax, Ethan. I've got this." Ethan shook his head, a smile tugging at the corners of his lips. "That boy will be the death of me someday," he thought, secretly grateful for the energy and life Logan brought into their home. Their mother, Clara, watched from the kitchen window, wiping her hands on her apron. Her eyes softened at the sight of her boys. Life had been hard, but moments like this reminded her that there was beauty in simplicity, that love often existed in the laughter of children and the gentle squabbles of siblings. Even in their idyllic childhood, hints of future conflict occasionally flickered like shadows beneath sunlight. The house, though filled with warmth, also carried the weight of their father's stern presence. Robert, a man of principle and strict rules, believed in discipline above all else. While he loved his sons dearly, he had little patience for carelessness or disregard for family property. "Ethan, Logan," he would say, "a home is more than walls and furniture. It's your responsibility. You must respect what we have." Logan would bristle at such lectures, his rebellious nature refusing to bow to authority. Ethan, ever obedient, nodded and absorbed the words, internalizing a sense of duty that would shape him into the man he was destined to become. Even then, the brothers were different in their approach to life. Ethan valued patience, thoughtfulness, and prudence. Logan craved action, immediacy, and the thrill of risk. The contrast, though sometimes amusing, planted seeds of friction that would grow in later years. Even in their idyllic childhood, hints of future conflict occasionally flickered like shadows beneath sunlight. The house, though filled with warmth, also carried the weight of their father's stern presence. Robert, a man of principle and strict rules, believed in discipline above all else. While he loved his sons dearly, he had little patience for carelessness or disregard for family property. "Ethan, Logan," he would say, "a home is more than walls and furniture. It's your responsibility. You must respect what we have." Logan would bristle at such lectures, his rebellious nature refusing to bow to authority. Ethan, ever obedient, nodded and absorbed the words, internalizing a sense of duty that would shape him into the man he was destined to become. Even then, the brothers were different in their approach to life. Ethan valued patience, thoughtfulness, and prudence. Logan craved action, immediacy, and the thrill of risk. The contrast, though sometimes amusing, planted seeds of friction that would grow in later years. As adulthood approached, Ethan and Logan's paths began to diverge. Ethan pursued studies in finance, aiming to manage the family's assets responsibly. He dreamed of stability, of preserving the home and legacy their parents had worked so hard to build. Logan, meanwhile, ventured into real estate and small business ventures, always chasing faster returns, bigger risks, and immediate results. Despite their differing paths, there remained a bond, a brotherly loyalty that neither could fully sever. Yet the tension over approaches, priorities, and ambition began to simmer beneath the surface. A quiet storm waiting for a trigger. The inevitable came one rainy evening when Robert and Clara passed away within months of each other. The loss left Ethan and Logan adrift, navigating grief and responsibility simultaneously. The reading of the will was a subdued affair, attended by a few relatives and the family lawyer. As the contents were revealed, Ethan and Logan were stunned to learn that the property was to be divided equally between them. Nothing extraordinary, nothing unfair. Yet the seed of conflict found fertile ground. Logan's mind raced with questions. Is this fair? Should I get the bigger share? Should I control the house? Ethan, ever cautious, focused on honoring the parents' wishes and keeping the peace. Even at that moment, the first cracks appeared. Logan's eyes lingered on the land deeds, the house, imagining it as his own empire. Ethan felt the weight of responsibility, understanding that unity might be the only way to preserve the family legacy. That night, as the brothers sat in the old living room, the house silent, except for the tick of the grandfather clock, memories flooded Ethan. He remembered Logan as a child, full of life, laughter, and mischief. He remembered building forts, sharing secrets, and fighting imaginary monsters. But now, those memories felt distant, like echoes in an empty hall. Logan sat across from him, silent, calculating, a fire of ambition in his eyes. The boy Ethan had protected, the brother he had loved unconditionally, was changing into someone he barely recognized. We'll get through this, Ethan whispered to himself. We have to. Logan, meanwhile, stared at the deeds in his hand, a smirk playing on his lips. I'll get what's mine, no matter what. The house on Willow Street was quiet, its walls echoing with years of memories. Ethan held the final legal documents dividing the property, while Logan's face burned with anger, his fists clenched. Years of resentment and rivalry had built up, and now it all came to this. You're tearing this family apart, Ethan said, his voice steady but heavy. Mom and Dad trusted us. They wanted unity, not bitterness. Logan's jaw tightened. I've been patient, Ethan. I've watched while you played peacemaker, while I held back. But now, I want what's mine. Ethan's chest ached as memories of childhood flooded back. Backyard forts, scraped knees, whispered secrets, laughter under lamplight. Those moments seemed distant, almost unreachable. It's not about property, he said softly. It's about us. In chasing possessions, you're losing more than land. You're losing your brother. Logan hesitated, a flicker of recognition crossing his eyes. The boy Ethan had once protected, the laughter they had shared, the bond they had cherished. But pride and greed were hard to fight. That night, Ethan wandered the empty halls, touching his father's old ledgers, recalling lessons of responsibility and integrity. Property was just paper and walls. The true inheritance was the bond of family, trust, and shared memories. The next morning, Ethan found Logan on the front steps, head bowed, regret etched on his face. I shouldn't have let it go this far, Logan admitted. I don't know. I just wanted everything. Ethan sat beside him, placing a hand on his shoulder. We both made mistakes, but we can start over. Property doesn't matter as much as we thought. Love, trust, and family, that's what endures. Logan's walls began to crumble. He let go of the resentment, acknowledging the bond they still shared. I've been blind, he whispered. I almost lost everything that mattered. Weeks later, the property was divided fairly, but with understanding, not anger. Ethan managed the estate responsibly, while Logan pursued ventures with care. More importantly, the brothers rebuilt their connection, sharing dinners, laughter, and revisiting memories that reminded them of their true inheritance. Ethan reflected on the painful journey. Family is more valuable than property. Greed blinds us. Forgiveness heals. Empathy prevents conflict. Memories are priceless. These lessons became their ultimate inheritance. One evening, as the sun set, Ethan and Logan sat together on the porch, the house behind them glowing softly. Logan spoke first, voice sincere. I'll never let greed blind me again. Not at the cost of us. Ethan smiled, placing an arm around him. And I'll never stop reminding you, and myself, what really matters. The house, once a witness to conflict, now held laughter again. Its walls seemed to breathe warmth, a testament to the endurance of love and understanding. The inheritance had never been property alone. It was the bond they fought to preserve, the lessons learned through pain and regret, and the forgiveness that allowed them to start anew. As night fell, Ethan and Logan embraced the promise of a future where love and family reigned above all. A future shaped by choice, understanding, and the courage to see beyond their own desires. Moral obsessing over possessions can destroy bonds with loved ones.